Welcome to the What's Happening Birmingham video podcast.
Hello, everyone. This is Jarvis Scott with What's Happening Birmingham. Today, I have a great guest on today. You have seen her face before with Hands On, but this is her individual segment, Vanessa Vargas of Latino News. Vanessa, good morning.
Good morning. Hola, Jarvis. How are you?
Great. So what's happening in Birmingham in Spanish? Just out of curiosity.
¿Qué está pasando en Birmingham? That would be the translation.
Oh, wow. That sounds really neat. Want to bring my friend on today, talk about this is Hispanic Heritage Month, talk about that, and also talk about the great things Latino News is doing in our community. So, Vanessa, good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Actually, it's like you said, it's Hispanic Heritage Month. There's a lot of activities going on, and I'm very involved in the community. A lot of people know me because of my involvement. So that's it's getting a little crazy, but you know, it's a great time. Love being a part of the community and also celebrating the Hispanic community as well here in Alabama, particularly Birmingham.
Okay, before we start, I wanted you to you had an interesting graph you wanted to kind of show us, because a lot of times people sometimes get Latino and Hispanic confused.
Of course, yeah, I think it's great. Let me share my screen. Give me 1 second. All right, so right here, you know, like you said, it's Hispanic Heritage Month, and people are always like, what do I call you? Like Hispanic, Latino, you know, what's the correct or proper way to say it? And when I tell people, you know, like I can be Latina or Hispanic, and I'm Latina because I'm feminine, I'm a female. So that's when you would add the Latina. If I was a boy, I would be like, I'm Latino. But when it's more than, you know, if it's boy and girl in the group or a group of people, you would just say they're Latino. But I'll start with this. When you think of Latino, it's all of Latin America. So it's more of location. And when you think of Hispanic, you think of people that are from Spain or are descended from the Spanish. So basically, most of the Latin American countries were conquered by, you know, the Spanish. So that's when you would be Hispanic because you speak the language. So Hispanic is more the language, Latino is more the geographic location. So you see all of the countries here, like I'm Colombian, so I'm in Latin America, but I speak Spanish, so I'm considered both. But you would not call a person from Spain Latino or Latina because they're not in Latin America, they're actually in Europe.
Oh, wow.
So you see the exception, you know, what is the exceptions or what they don't include, what is not included. And in Latin America, if you're from like Brazil, you would be considered Latino or Latina, but not Hispanic because you do not speak Spanish, they speak Portuguese.
Oh, wow.
So I think this is a perfect way to for people to see a little bit of the difference. And a lot of people are like, well, you know, what's the right word? And I just tell people like, hey, you know, what's your ethnicity, you know, or your nationality? Your nationality. And then they would say, well, I'm Latina, but Hispanics or Latinos are always excited about saying, yeah, I'm Latina or I'm Hispanic, but I'm Colombian or I'm Mexican or I'm Puerto Rican. So there's no wrong or right answer. These terms are usually used interchangeably. But I would just, if you want to be, you know, a geek or really knowledgeable, you would just say Latino for the geographic location, and Hispanic if you know that they speak Spanish. You're like, oh, they're Hispanic. Or Latino if you think they're in Latin America and they speak Spanish. I hope this helps.
Yeah, it really does help. So in Alabama, what's the population breakdown when it comes to
Okay, so that's a great question. I love answering this question because being in the media business, we always get compared to big markets. And Alabama has a niche market. It's not necessarily like New York or Miami or LA or California in general, because California has huge cities. But the makeup of Alabama is a little unique. You have more of a Central American influence. The largest population being like the Mexican community, followed by the Guatemalan, Salvadorian, Honduran. Then you have some Puerto Ricans, some Dominican, Dominicanos, we said from the Dominican Republic. And then you have several groups like from South America. There's a large population of Brazilians. So they are here, and they definitely have Brazilian Day. I don't know if any, they've had a festival for several years. Because of COVID, they didn't have it last year, but that's always a fun activity to go to. And there's also been a large growth with Venezuelans coming to the United States, and especially here in the Birmingham metro area. Actually, this past weekend, they had a get together, like a festival. So yeah, so I mean, September is a huge, an important month. And it is actually Hispanic Heritage Month is from September 15th to October 15th. So it's a whole month. It's kind of 2 months, but it's 1 month.
Yeah.
Circle. So yes.
So how long have the events been, Hispanic Heritage Month been celebrated here in Birmingham?
So I've grown up with one of the biggest festivals, which is Fiesta. Fiesta is always on the last Saturday in September. It's actually coming up this weekend, and I can show you some information on that.
Yeah, show me the flyer. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, yeah, let me share my screen again. Hold on 1 second. But yeah, so Fiesta's been around for about 19 years. This will be the 19th year that we're celebrating. It'll be this weekend in Lynn Park. Hold on, let me minimize this. And let me pull the other one up. So yeah, you can see it right here. These are, when people ask me, well, what's so cool about Fiesta or unique about it? And what I love about it, I grew up with it, and we make sure that the community, it's an education festival. I think when people, no matter if you speak any other language, obviously if you're American, you're like, well, I kind of want to know a little bit of the Hispanic culture or the Latino culture. What is that all about? So when you come to Fiesta, it's at Lynn Park every year. You can see the flyer here. It's at Lynn Park this weekend, and it's from 12 to 8 p.m. During the day, it's very family oriented, and at night it becomes more of a concert. So right here in the flyer, you see this is our headliner. It's Los Rojos, which is they're actually a very young group. They're up and coming. So we're very excited to have them. This guy right here, Rafael Mercante, he is our MC, and he is a dynamic person. He doesn't just act, he sings, he's a radio host. So he's gonna bring a lot of energy. This group right here, talking about Hispanic Heritage Month, Sonora Dinamita, they play a lot of cumbia. Within the Latino culture, there's different genres of music, and they play cumbia. Most people are familiar with bachata or merengue or salsa, but they play more of a cumbia, which is actually I feel like it's like a two-step. So, so it's always fun. Okay. Yeah, so it's pretty easy. It's fun. I like it, and you kind of just go in circles. It's fun.
Okay, like salsa dance. It's just a little easier.
It's kind of, but it's all about I always tell people, close your eyes and just hear the instruments. And usually when you hear certain, like if you hear more of los tambores, the percussion, or if you hear a lot of like the trumpet, you'll be able to decipher like, okay, this is this genre or this is this genre. Yeah, so it's kind of like when you also eat several types of food, like if you have Chinese, Thai, Japanese, you'll learn the difference between what it is. And it's the same with your ears. You got to train your ears to listen to certain instruments that'll let you know, where they fall in the different genres. Yeah. And this group right here, they're not in the picture because this is highlighting the artist, but they're going to open the festival. It's a very Aztec dance, and they'll come in costumes. And that'll be at around 12:30. So that'll be great. And I think the biggest thing, we'll have a mariachi as well. But one of the things that I do want to say is that you will definitely feel welcome. All our signage is in English and Spanish.
Okay, cool.
So we're always excited to just give the community an opportunity to learn about the Latino culture.
Okay, and what's the other event? I think there's some other.
Oh yeah, I had one more event here. Yeah, sorry.
Oh, it's fine.
And so what I'm so proud, of Birmingham, but also other cities, is that they are celebrating Hispanic culture as well. We have this event here that will be this weekend on Sunday, and it'll be in Irondale. It says Yo Amo, which I love. That's what it stands for, festival. Irondale. So they're saying Yo Amo Festival Irondale, which are celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month. I know it's in Spanish, but I will definitely read it for you guys so y'all can understand it. But the mayor, the city of Irondale and the mayor are holding this event, and it'll be in this address. I think there's a Vivian Mora agency. She has a huge parking lot. So she's going to be bringing, she's hosting it. And allowing it, the city to come together and celebrate the different countries in Latin America. So there's going to be a mechanical bull, live music, face painting, of course, music. You can't be Latino and not dance. Prices and food trucks. So that'll be happening this weekend as well, but it'll be on Sunday from 2 to 6. So there's always an opportunity. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. The point is there's always an opportunity, especially during this Hispanic Heritage Month, to get involved and just to figure out different tastes of different foods. Fiesta will definitely have Salvadorian food, I think Guatemalan, of course, Mexican, but it's a great opportunity to explore, take yourself to Latin America.
Yeah, and get a chance to eat the food. I like to call it real authentic. Because you get some of these places, this is not authentic food. When we go to like events like what you all are doing, you get the real food to try and things. So yeah, because like Guatemala, I think I never tried that before.
Well, if you get a chance to go, I don't know what you're doing this weekend. I'm throwing you under the bus, but if you do I'm putting you on the spot. Putting you on the spot, you should come out and try the pupusa lady. She is famous. Pupusas, there's kind of like it's a Salvadorian food, but it's the shape of a tortilla, but it's not a tortilla, it's a pupusa. And it's stuffed with beans, and she has vegetarian options, and of course you can have your meat. And it's basically stuffed in there, but it's almost like it's just mixed within the tortilla, and then she puts like cabbage on top and the sauce. It's really good. Really good. And then we'll have Cuban food too. So for my Miami people or people that are from Florida and they're visiting or happen to be here or have transplanted to good old Alabama here, Birmingham, we'll have the Cuban food as well.
Oh wow, Cuban food. Okay. Yeah. So where can they go if they want to find out? Of course, you all's website if they want to get a list of the events and everything.
Yeah. Okay. So the Irondale, I think it's more of just happening. You just show up and 2 to 5, and that's how that is. With Fiesta, since it's been there over here a very long time, it is from 12 to 8, like I said, and you can go to fiestabham.com and you can buy the tickets there. The one in Irondale is free, but Fiesta does have a charge. It's about $10 per adult. But the great thing is that kids 12 and under get in free.
Okay, and I saw that, like the other one, the mechanical bull. Now that's fun right there.
I know. I don't know if they're charging for that, but I think most of everything's free. I think State Farm has but that's a State Farm's mechanical bull, so it'll be great.
Yes, because a lot of people think they can hang on that bull and they fall off all over the place. I did one of those a long time ago. I can't remember. I done one, and it was really, really, really fun. So Latino News, tell me a little bit more about what you all do here in the community and how long you all been here. Been in business.
Yeah, so what I actually do is my parents came here about 24 years ago. When you first come to the United States, you are trying to figure out, how do I start from zero? How do I provide for my family? How do I, make the American dream happen? And for my parents, it was a little different. When we came here, we came to Gadsden, Etowah County. That's where my upbringing most part of my upbringing was. And so when we first came, my dad, there wasn't a large community. I mean, right now we make 4% of the state of Alabama, the Hispanics do. But back then it was not 4%. But it was a large enough community that the first generation, they didn't really know what was going on. You didn't have resources. I think HICA hadn't even started, or other nonprofit organizations. So you would just rely mostly on in the church or friends. And so for us, our family, our newspaper actually came from the church. My dad had the idea. His hobby is writing. He loves to write. He's a great writer in Spanish, let me tell you. And so he reached out to the priest and said, hey, in the bulletin, I just want to write a column in Spanish to let people know what's going on. And the priest lent us a hand, and he was like, I have a better idea. Why don't you do a newsletter and you sell the ads to cover the printing costs, and we'll help you get started so you can distribute this newsletter for the local community. And we started in Etowah County, and then we started expanding to Marshall County, which is Boaz, Abbeville, Fort Payne, and Fort Payne is more of DeKalb, but that's where we started expanding. And then we came to Jefferson County, and so we cover from Athens, Alabama, up north, all the way to Montgomery, which is to the south. Everything in between, as long as you're one of the major Hispanic stores, and even small, but it's a large distribution for us. I'm trying to cover the whole state, and we've been doing it for 24 years. It started as a monthly, then bi-weekly, and now we're weekly. Okay. So, and if you haven't seen it, this is what it looks like. You know, I'm all about props and visuals, so.
Yeah, and it's free newspaper. Anybody that gets it, correct?
Yes. Yeah, we're free, and you'll find it at the Mexican grocery stores, some churches, most restaurants, but more like taquerias, like where the Hispanic community is. You might not find it at your local Tex-Mex restaurant, but you'll definitely find it at where most of the Hispanic community go to eat.
And so I could really see the newspaper be a great way if somebody's learning Spanish and definitely learn how to, because it's like you got something you can read out loud, and things like that.
Yeah, I always tell people, if you look at it, an image is worth 1,000 words. So if you just look at it like, oh, well, they're talking about Mexico and United States, something's going on. And some words are, similar. And you have the flags here, it's celebrating a lot of, it's saying that Hispanics make 18.7% of the population in the United States, not Alabama, but throughout the whole United States. And here they're saying something about video games. You can kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, I see that.
The picture. You're always talking about some video games. So it's interesting because the picture kind of gives you an idea of what the content might be talking about, or the article.
So what challenges did your father face, other than just, I want to say, language barrier, when he first brought the newspaper, out, was trying to get it out there?
I think for him, it was, taking that risk of starting over. I mean, because many people know my father, and I've growing up, they were like, oh, the girl, Vanessa, the Jairo Vargas' daughter, I was the daughter, not Vanessa. But I think it was, he took that step, and my parents knocked door to door or from grocery to grocery store, be like, this is what we're doing, this is the plan. So it was the beginning stages, and I think that could be very challenging and scary, but they had the strength and las ganas, the will, that's what we say, the will to just move forward and make something for them. And they were successful, and this is their legacy to the community as well.
All right, so how many newspapers you all print a week for?
Okay, so we covered 13 counties, and we print about 8,000 newspapers. Depending on the holidays, it could be more. It's always seasonal. Like if during in the summer months, a lot of people go on vacation, so we kind of adapt to the needs. And like holidays are huge for us. I mean, Latinos, they go all out for the holidays. So you have there are more newspapers being printed, for sure.
So have advertisers, has it been more easier over the years to get more advertisers for the paper and everything?
Yeah, so I think it's very similar, I would say. Like newsprint, we go through ups and downs, and it's all about creating those campaigns and what our readers might find attractive. So our holidays are important, like Mother's Day, Father's Day, Thanksgiving, Hispanic Heritage Month. And it's not the same clients, they switch over, periodically, whether it's maybe if it's Mother's Day, more restaurants place ads, because that's huge. You want to take the mom out because no moms want to cook. And same for the fathers, they want to take them out and eat. But for the holidays, you'll see more of the grocery stores placing ads because they want to promote the ingredients to those traditional dishes that the Hispanic community does during the holidays for Christmas or New Year's.
Okay, so while we still, like I always tell people, I guess we're in this continuing pandemic because we thought this thing is over, and let's just find different ways to multiply in so many words. When it first happened, what was the reaction, in your opinion, in your community with COVID-19?
I think across all the communities, there was a lot of disinformation. So Latino News, what we did was keep the people informed. But what we did is that we strengthened the partnerships with the connections that we've had. I mean, we've been here 24 years, and we're very community based. So with that comes a network of different partnerships or connections of nonprofits, city individuals, health individuals. So one of the most interesting things is that there was no information in Spanish. So how do you inform a community and create those, the right information, or creating, I guess, vital information or reliable information when it's in English? And if you're trying to read, that's not their first language. So what we did is, as a newspaper, we got together with those partners. I think the Jefferson County Health Department, we were huge on trying to create a campaign and trying to get the information out to our readers and also our followers, our audience, because we're a print newspaper, but on our social media, we have over 32,000 organic followers that we've worked over the years to gain. And so that's how, the pandemic started for us. It's kind of like, how do we get this information? And great, we'll get it out. But where's the material in Spanish?
Okay.
And so that was the biggest battle that we had initially. And then after that, it was, okay, vaccination, right? How do you vaccination sites and where? I think this is something that maybe within the African American community, it was also a struggle because people work from 8 to 5. A lot of our communities in the African American and the Hispanic community, they do like the 8 to 5 times they're cleaning. They're in the service industry. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. So if you're having a vaccine site from 8 to 12 every day, how successful is that? And how accessible is it? So we had to work on educating, the different people that were holding the vaccine sites. Hey, this is how our community works. So it was an education for our community, but also our partners of the behaviors and what they can expect of, hey, you might have to work on Saturdays because Monday through Friday is not really the best way to create accessibility for people to get vaccinated or create access. And so that was some of the things that we had to struggle with. And also letting people know, because when you go, some of the vaccine sites are like, pull out your insurance. Our Hispanic community doesn't have, for the most part, insurance because some are undocumented and sometimes and insurance is expensive. So even if they are, some don't have insurance. So then they're like, well, we can't get a vaccine because we don't have insurance. So then it was like going back to, the partners and saying, hey, make sure, the vaccine's free, but you can't be, you can't say pull out your insurance card because that's intimidating. It's an underserved community that has a lot of fear and, they hold back a lot. And so, because they're not from here. And so they're having to learn and it's scary, and they don't speak the language and they rely a lot on their kids, so it's a struggle for sure.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Did you experience any hesitancy issues, like in our community about the vaccine? Was it different type of hesitancy issues in your community about whether or not to take it?
It's actually been very interesting because the United States was one of the first countries that was like, here's the vaccines, let's start, and I say first the countries comparing it to like the Latin American countries that they had to wait a long time. And it's interesting the behavior that it kind of plays when you're trying to see how it is in geographic location and what the significance or the weight of it is. And it's been really hard because we had groups created throughout the pandemic. We would meet almost every month or every 2 weeks, depending on the urgency. And so I think right now, because you said it's not finished yet, the vaccination rate, especially here in Alabama, is super low. It's getting a little better, but it's been really hard, especially for our community in the Hispanic community here, because and I was going to say, because in their countries, people were waiting for the vaccine. Like, I can't believe it's not ready. And you had people traveling from Latin America to the United States to get the vaccine. But then here, and I say here in Alabama, but that was also the behavior in other states where the Hispanic community was present. There was hesitation. They were basing it, well, I have to wait because it's very new. I think it's the same as any other of the communities that are part of Alabama or the nation. They were saying, well, the disinformation had a huge influence. And also, hey, I don't know, this is brand new. I don't want to be a guinea pig. I don't want to be a tester. I don't want to be a tester. I'm going to wait and see. So I think some of the similar issues were happening. And also the language barrier is a part of that too.
Okay. Yeah, because definitely, I like how you spoke about the time piece, because a lot of times, a lot of vaccination drives. And then, a lot of times, a lot of people saying too, a lot of them wasn't in very accessible places where normal, populations, they would either have to go across town, or if they got, like you said, they work a lot during the day. It's when can you go do, unless there is vaccination sites that's after 5 or open on Saturdays and Sundays.
Yeah. And some places were intimidating. So we had to come up with some, the people that were actually holding the vaccine sites, we would give them advice. It was more of, advising them of, here's how to reach the market and these are locations. So like Legion Field was a great place where the Hispanics feel comfortable because they play soccer there. It's a part of, their I guess sports, or they're accustomed to going to like Legion Field because they've had soccer games. The national team has come and played. So it's something that's familiar, other the campaigns that we had to do, because I don't know what other communities did, but we had to work on, okay, how do we create more awareness? And so what we did was that we tried to get people within the community that were influencers, so that they would talk about if they had the vaccine, versus having a doctor that was, very proper, which that is very, vital in our community too. But I want somebody that I can relate to. And so let's say Juan, that is like the major DJ here, and I'm just giving an example, this is not a real person. And we brought him in and say, hey, help us promote why you think the vaccine, or why you got the shot and why you did it, so that you can create a little bit of familiarity for the community and create more of it, like, okay, if he's doing it, then I feel comfortable doing it, because it's not seeing the highly educated, knowledgeable, because if you see a doctor who's like, well, of course he's going to be pro because he is in the field,
Yeah.
But if you see somebody that maybe is an influencer in the construction community, he has nothing, he'll say, I did it for my family or my grandmother because underlying conditions, etc. And people could relate more. So it's definitely a campaign that we had to work a lot, and finding the right formula, or implementing the right formula so that it had a better success for the community to get back.
So what's your all's plans for the rest of the year, as far as the newspaper or any other events coming up in the community that we need to know the rest of the year?
Yeah, of course. So we're always involved. You'll see me around, being a part of these different events. Right now it's Hispanic Heritage Month. I think the next one will be Dia de los Muertos, which is Day of the Dead. That's the translation.
Okay.
It's nothing scary. Also, it has nothing to do with Halloween.
It's all right.
I always tell people, Dia de los Muertos, it's a northern, if I'm not mistaken, and I hope, because I'm Colombian, so it's not a part of my culture. And I think that's the beauty of me growing up here in Alabama with my Latino communities, because they're teaching me all the time. And so in the Mexican culture, and I think it's more of a northern, they do it throughout all of Mexico, but the influence came from northern Mexico. They celebrate the loved ones. And Day of the Dead, it's more of a remembrance of the special loved ones that have left us and have moved on. But they take November 2nd to give them flowers, and they do like an altar. And if you visit some, you can even ask. I invite anybody to ask like the Mexican friends, like, hey, do you have an altar for Dia de los Muertos? And most family members do. They have it for their grandmothers, for their grandfathers or parents, the people that the loved ones that passed away. And it's just a way of celebrating them, celebrating their life. And, you know, they'll have empty tequila bottles or el pan de muerto, which is, it's the bread that's called, pan de muerto is this bread that they put at the altar. And then they have marigolds, that's a part of it too. So it's an altar, you know, that it's very alive, very colorful. And they'll put like instruments, anything that was significant. Like if he was a singer, they might put a mic. If he was a writer, they put a bunch of books. So it's a beautiful way, I think, of just remembering those loved ones. And if you had somebody that's passed away, it's also a way of mourning, you know, and just, you know, saying, I miss you and I'm here for you and I remember you. And so that's what Dia de los Muertos is. That'll be happening November 2nd. It's 4 days long. So that'll be in the very beginning of November. I think it's November 1st to the 4th. I don't have the flyer with me, but that'll be great for the family to come and see a little bit of that culture, the influence that we have. And it's huge throughout the United States, but I definitely want to highlight that it's not Halloween. You don't wear costumes. This is more just very symbolic of just a lot of people celebrating the people that have passed away. And they did like a mural last year of just the different people that have passed away, especially last year when we had everything that was going on. So
let's see one of those.
Yeah, yeah, and it'll be in Pepper Place. And that one's been going around over 18 years as well. So that I think it'll be great. I think it's actually 17 years. Yeah.
Okay. So if people want to find out more about what you all do, what's the website?
For us, Latino News, we are, I was like, which organization? But I'm telling you, people are like, what do you do for a living? Because you're like in all these organizations. But what I do, Latino News, we're daily online, and you can visit us on www.latino-news.com. And please, I invite you to check out our Facebook, because we're always doing videos and teaching our community, all the community, of what's going on within the Latino community. And so that would, if you look us up on Facebook, it's Latino News Alabama.
Yeah, and put you on the spot too. What's some of these organizations you're a part of? And if she forgets to blame on the brain, not the heart.
I know. So I am involved in various, like you said, it's a long list, but I love them all. And some are leadership, some are just being board members, but it's important because I want to be a voice for my community. And I think that's my biggest purpose for my involvement. So Fiesta is one of them. The festival's coming up this weekend. Bare Hands hosts Taco Fest. Taco Margarita Fest actually was this year. And Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead. HICA, the biggest nonprofit here in Alabama that has many resources for our Latino community, and other communities as well are welcome. They serve all the community. We have La Casita, which is another nonprofit that's with the diocese of the Catholic diocese, and so they serve as well the underserved community, the Latinos. Oh my goodness, the Community Foundation, I'm a part of one of their committees, the Grant Community. Oh my goodness, Hands on Birmingham, I've been involved with them, so I'm always volunteering. Oh my goodness, and FBI Students Academy. I mean, yes, there's so many different organizations, but I love them all. And like Short is a statewide organization that is promoting literacy, and we do the Spanish version of this book that is called Short. It's an activity book, and the idea behind it is to have something for the kids to do if they're in court, because sometimes when parents go to pay a ticket or they're dealing with some distress that they have to deal with the court, the kids are just sitting there and they have nothing to do. And so this is a program, an activity book that's available as well, and they're working with Children's Hospital to recycle and everything. It's almost like I Smokey the Bear.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Short is a squirrel. And so Short the squirrel is promoting all these different areas, is promoting literacy in all these different areas, whereas you're at the hospital or the court or recycling. or even learning about finance. It's educating the kids and the parents as well, because it's bilingual.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you for everything you do in the community. Of course, especially with the newspaper. Thank you, Father. I already told you I want to do an interview with everybody in your family. I think it'd be a really interesting interview. But having the vision, to bring something to the community, there was an outlet that their voices, be heard. I think that was a wonderful idea, and also we see you passing doing it today, still and everything, and we definitely want to bring you back from time to time on the podcast. Definitely for the one next. I don't want to. That's what
Day
I
of the
got.
Los Muertos.
Yes. I'm having on my bucket list. I gotta learn Spanish. I did it in ninth grade, and all I knew was "Como te llamas."
Yo me llamo Vanessa.
See, that's one thing I know. I gotta finish football Americano.
American football.
So definitely want to bring you back on. Thank you all for watching this video. Please check out what'shappeningbirmingham.com for more videos, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank y'all again. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching the What's Happening Birmingham video podcast. Please check out our website, app, or subscribe to our YouTube channel for the latest videos today.